Hey there everyone, it's Nina. Thanks for joining me today for a new video. I'm really excited to be bringing today's project to you because I'm going to be creating a card using a brand new stamp set that I illustrated for Simon Says Stamp called Black Eyed Susans. And I loved this set. I really enjoyed creating it and I couldn't wait to actually make a card with it. So I'm going to pull in a no-line colored pencil technique. I've shared quite a few of these in the past and everybody always enjoys them. So I thought I would use colored pencils to color this, and I'll walk you through what I did to make the card. So I'm going to stamp one of the images from the Black Eyed Susan set onto some Nina Desert Storm card stock. And I'm using Simon Says Stamp embossing ink to do the stamping. The reason I chose this ink is because it is a watermark ink, so it's going to create a darker color on top of this paper without actually creating some lines that are going to show up on my actual image. So they're going to hide really well. It's also going to allow me to see the image easily as I color. So I'm using colored pencils to color in this image, and I tried to keep the coloring pretty simple. So I started off with a few light shades of yellow and I'm blending those out. Then I brought in darker colors to gradually build up the shading. I don't want to go too heavy with the shading and get these Black Eyed Susans to be too dark. I want to maintain that bright yellow for the coloring. I also used some dark browns to create the centers of the Black Eyed Susans. And I always finish up my coloring by bringing in the lightest color that I used to color in a specific area. And that's because the lightest colored pencil colors help blend out the rest of the colors the best. So I'll add shading here for these leaves, and then I'll start bringing in my lightest colors to the areas where I want everything to be the lightest. And I'll just slowly work the pencils back and forth, going back and forth between my mid shades and the lightest shades to help get that perfect blend and also that nice smooth coloring that always ends up happening when you go back over top of everything with the lightest color. So I colored in the leaves and the Black Eyed Susan petals exactly the same way. So what you watched me do while I was talking, I repeated that across all of the petals and leaves. So it was a very repetitive process, very therapeutic. And if you wanted to see anything else in further detail, just rewind and watch me go over each area. I literally did the exact same thing on every single piece. So it was very simple to do. So now I'm going to bring in the coordinating dies for this set, and I'm going to tape them down with very, very low tack tape from Simon Says Stamp and cut this out so I have this really pretty floral arrangement. And this is going to get put on top of my Nina Desert Storm card base, and I'm going to do a bit of blending on the bottom corner before I actually attach the flowers. So I pulled in, again, this is a great green color from Simon's Pawsitively Saturated Ink Collection, and I used a Simon blending brush to get a really nice blend of color coming in along the bottom left up towards the right, and I faded it out. I wanted to enhance the background a bit by adding some splatters with Tim Holtz mica stains. This is one of his newer collections of mica stains, and I just love this color. This one is decayed, and it creates such a beautiful gold finish when it dries on top of the Nina cardstock. It's absolutely stunning. So I'm using Simon Says Stamp thin 3D foam squares to attach the Black Eyed Susans onto my project. I like the thin 3D foam squares for something like this because it adds dimension to my card without it getting super bulky. And anything that's hanging off the edges, I'm just going to go ahead and trim off with some scissors. So there's my flowers, they're ready to go, and now we just need to add some embellishment and a sentiment. So now I'm going to pull out one of the sentiments from the stamp set. This is part of the Black Eyed Susan set. And I'm going to ink up the stamp with embossing ink and stamp it onto burnt orange cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. Now I will stamp the sentiment twice because I didn't get a perfect impression the first time. I didn't press hard enough on the Y. So I'll go ahead and do that again so I get a perfect impression across this cardstock. Then I'll just take some gold embossing powder and sprinkle that over top of the greeting so that I can heat set it and create a rich, beautiful greeting that really evokes a lot of the fall feels. I really tried to use some dramatic, rich tones for this card because I was really inspired by fall, and I thought this would look really pretty with the Black Eyed Susans. So that's where I got the inspiration for my color palette. I'm going to die cut the sentiment with the coordinating dies and then use foam squares again to go ahead and pop this sentiment on top of my finished card. So this is almost done, but I did want to add a bit of sparkle to go with those beautiful splatters in the background. I needed some sparkle in the front. So I pulled out some of the new Morning Glory sequins from Simon's Stamp. This is also part of the STAMPtember release, and I am just putting a few of those here and there on top of the flowers, and that really finished things off. I liked the colors in this mix. It went really well with the colors that I used on the card. So I think that worked perfectly. This card is complete, and I just love the dramatic yellow flowers on top of that dark green background, and then of course the bright sentiment on top really paired things off, and it's got a beautiful fall feel to it. I hope you were inspired by this card and that you got some ideas on how you can use this Black Eyed Susan set. And also too, I hope you were inspired by the no line colored pencil coloring. I always enjoy doing that. So I hope you will check out not only the supplies that I used listed in the video description or over on my blog if you're watching this there. Definitely check all that out. I have information on everything I use there. And don't forget to check out the entire STAMPtember release from Simon's Stamp. It's amazing. And STAMPtember is just beginning. If you are new to STAMPtember, I will put a link to the Simon's Stamp blog where you can find out more information about it. It's a month-long celebration of stamping, and there's a lot of great collaboration sets that are revealed throughout the month along with other fun surprises. So it's definitely something you want to participate in. And also I will be sharing inspiration using many of the collaborations throughout the month. So I can't wait for you to come back and see more. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back soon with more to share. But until then, I hope you have a fabulous day.